When you were a child, who was your F1 hero?
Jim Clark. And remember, Noah, when I was a child, there was no Formula One on television. It was almost impossible to see it on television. So I would have to call my local newspaper and ask them, do you have the results from Kyalami, from Brazil, from Argentina, wherever the Grand Prix was on? And sometimes the newspaper had it and sometimes it didn't. So it was very hard to follow a lot of drivers. But Jim Clark, because I was from Ireland, drivers from England and Scotland, we knew them more than anything else. So I would say Jim Clark was the number one.
And I also interviewed his cousin, and he was truly an iconic Formula One driver. He was probably one of the greats to this day.
Absolutely. And then after that came Jackie Stewart. Jackie Stewart is a friend of mine. I got to know him because I drove for Tyrrell. But Jackie Stewart was the perfect professional, fast, and then a businessman. And even today, I came up with James Hunt. James Hunt was just an amazing personality in the sport as I came up through it. And then, of course, Ronnie Peterson, Mario Andretti, people like that.
Staying on basically the same topic, I interviewed Isaac Hadjar, and he said to me that his idol is Lewis Hamilton, so he was really happy to race against him. And I would like to ask you, obviously you said that Jim Clark was your childhood hero, but I would like to know if there was any driver that you really liked to race against on the track and was basically a dream to race against him.
Well, back in the day, one of my big heroes was Ronnie Peterson. When I raced in Formula 3 in England, I remember when Ronnie Peterson came to Thruxton in England to watch Eje Elk, who was also from Sweden. And even then, when we saw Ronnie Peterson in the paddock, it was, whoa, there's a big Formula One driver. So I would say he was the hero that I looked up to. But remember, when you saw Niki Lauda to me was a big hero, a big star name, Niki Lauda, and so they were great times. They really were. When you look back, Didier Pironi, I was his teammate before he went to Ferrari. Patrick Depailler was a big name, from France. I got to race him. Maybe the driver from Formula 3 that I followed was Elio De Angelis, because we raced together in Formula 3. I thought he was the best Formula 3 driver in Europe. And so we went to Formula 1 at the same time. He was just so fast, and he was, sophisticated. He looked like a model. He was everything you thought a Formula 1 driver should be.
Perhaps the worst crash of your career was in IndyCar in 1984 at Michigan International Speedway, and even watching the footage today, it was an impressive crash. My question is, how did you mentally recover from that crash, and how does a driver get back in a car? Because Enzo Ferrari famously said, drivers, what people? Do you think you are just different from normal people when you were driving?
Yes. So when IndyCar racing was very fast, particularly super speedway racing, very fast, and people don't understand how difficult it is to race that fast in corners all the time. And so after a crash like that, when you get hurt that badly, the difficult question is not will you race again? But why will you race again? Because it makes no sense. But for a racing driver, for me in particular, I never wanted my accident to be the reason I left the sport. I never wanted the accident to be the legacy that I would leave in the sport. And so my dad always told me that I alone will be responsible for whatever legacy I leave in the sport. And I didn't remember that until my accident. And then I realized I have to recover. I have to get fit. I have to get mentally fit. I have to get back into a racing car and a racing team, and with a new team probably, because it was important to me to leave the sport on my terms, not leave it because I was forced out by an accident. And that's a hard thing to do in racing. It's a hard thing to forget how badly you're injured. And I had 19 surgeries, 19 operations, and I was in therapy for 3 years. So that's a long time to think.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, Noah, was that I got back. I became successful again. I won the biggest international races of my career after my accident, because it was important for me to control the legacy I left in the sport. And I would say the same for any driver today. You have control of the legacy, even if it's difficult, and hopefully that will drive people forward to control whatever legacy they leave in the sport, in this amazing sport that we're all involved in.
Going back to the topic of safety, today F1 cars are incredibly safe, especially with the halo and modern survival shells. Do you think that this level of safety has fundamentally changed the way of drivers fighting on track? Because once I spoke with Sterling Moss's son, and he told me that his father was arguing with Jackie Stewart because Jackie wanted to increase the safe in F1, while Sterling Moss think that if you give drivers too much safe cars, they would misbehave on track.
I think, Noah, they are both correct. Jackie Stewart pushed for safety. My son Connor now races at the Indy 500 in the safest racing car in the world today. I think IndyCar is even safer than Formula One cars today. All because of accidents like mine. They were forced to change the design of cars. They were forced to use materials that are much stronger. So it's normal that we have safer racing cars. However, Sterling Moss was correct. Drivers now don't appreciate how dangerous the sport is. And drivers in the lower class, Formula 3, Formula 2, they take too many chances because they think I'm invincible. Even if I crash, I won't be hurt. So I'd like to see a bit more discipline, but I think safer racing cars are better for everybody, because too many drivers got killed in my era. And when you try and attract commercial sponsorship at the level that you now need it, you can't be killing drivers every season. So they have to be safer. They are safer today, but IndyCar is the safest racing car in the world today, without a doubt.
Very nice analysis, Derek.